Hey, good morning, everybody. Regular meeting of Madera County Board of Supervisors, Tuesday, March 1st, 2016. Welcome. Are there any additions to the agenda?
There are no additions to the agenda.
Okay. May I, can you read into the
Sure.
the recording?
Sure. Closed session today is labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The county negotiators are Adrian Caleb. The employee organization are all units. And the final item is performance evaluations pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. The title of the position is County Administrative Officer.
Let's go into closed session.
You might want to ask for public comment first.
Is there? That's right. We have to have public comment. Any public? Is this your son, Brett? Do you have any public comment? No. Okay, great. Thank you. Back to the board. Let's go to closed session. Thank you. Sorry I put you on the spot there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Do we have anything to report from closed session?
There are no reportable actions.
Okay. Thank you. Morning, everybody. Could Randy, where's Randy? Where did he go to? Oh, behind the speaker. Hey, Randy. Could you give us the invocation, please? And Jay, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance for us? And then we have a surprise for everybody after this.
Father, we are grateful to be here this day. Thankful for our supervisors who will do the work of ministry for our community. And then for the little children who come in with their patriotic presentation. Life exudes from them. The fullness of joy is there. May that be representative of our entire community. May we be thankful, Father, for our schools, our teachers, our administrators, our parents, our children. Watch over them throughout our county this day. Bring your blessing upon this sacred meeting. And we'll thank you again, Father, for your supervisors. We pray for your families. We ask, Father, that you endow them with health, vision for our community, and also, Lord, proper steps to take to accomplish those. The well-being of the people of Madera County will be the result of their actions along the roads. So we commit this meeting to you. In Christ's name, amen.
Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like everybody to notice the members or the county residents that have died from our last meeting. And if there's anybody that would like to say something about somebody, I would like to say something about Don Sambueso. Everybody remembers Gus's Food Market, Dom and Dim, great guys. He was buried yesterday. So, did a lot for the Madera community. Anybody else like to say?
I'd like to say a word about Dirk Lott. Dirk served in the military, and of course, I knew him my whole life. He was a dairyman there in the Churchill area, and I kind of grew up with their family. We spent a lot of time together. We'd go out to their place every 4th of July and have homemade ice cream and fireworks and what have you. And their family has been a great blessing to my life, and he was a very positive person. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I went and saw him, and he was a great, played a harmonica like you can't believe. And he sat and played for me. And so I just was really blessed by his life, and we're going to miss him.
Just also Don Sambueso. Some of my earliest memories were going with my dad over when they'd have the pit barbecue out there, and Don and Dim just yelling back and forth at each other. It was like, going into Mayberry, that you have your deli there, and we never left with. We'd go in for a rack of ribs, but we'd leave with the tri-tip and chicken, and he would just give it out and say, oh, next time I'm in Piccolo's, well, you'll get me back. But that's that small town feel was. I do remember it very vividly, and loved going in there as a kid with my dad. And
we did have 4 veterans die this last time too, so our thoughts go out to the veterans. And Jay, would you say the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have a treat for everybody today. Brett, would you announce our treat?
Yes, this is with great pleasure that I introduce this treat. Sierra View Elementary School is an elementary school in the Madera Ranchos, out in the Bonadelli Ranchos. And luckily, both of my children go there. And 2 Fridays ago, we went out to watch their Patriotic Day. And these kids, first graders, sang no less than 10 patriotic songs. We won't have that many here today. But it was great to see the way they did it with such joy and excitement in their country. And I just thought that we needed to celebrate that and celebrate the good things that are going on, and remember that everything that we do is for these little ones walking in right now. I know that when I watched it, there was not a dry eye in the house by the end of it, and so it's my pleasure to present the first grade classes of Sierra View. With them are their teachers, Mrs. Winslow, Mrs. Ford, and Mrs. Whittemore, as well as what I think is one of the best principals I've ever seen, Mr. Imperatrice. We also played football together. But I hope you all enjoy this. I know I did, and I don't want to ever miss it again.
Well, when Brett brought this to me, I thought, oh my gosh, we need something like this right now in this day of age, and I love that, gosh darn, first graders are learning about our country and patriotic songs that marched through our country years ago, through World War II and all through our centuries. So, okay, let's have them. It's cute.
Good morning. We are the first graders from Sierra View Elementary School in the Madera Ranchos. Thank you for inviting us to be here today. We have been studying all about our nation's history and would like to share some of our songs and speeches from our recent show. Fellow Americans? Hi, sir. Where are you from? USA, sir. Stand like a statue. Please stand for the national anthem. In 1814, a young lawyer named Francis Scott Key was forced by the British to witness the perilous battle at Fort McHenry. He was inspired by the waving of the American flag throughout the bombardment, leading to the national anthem words, "Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?" The preamble to the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and ensure the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain this and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. George Washington said during his farewell address, "Observe good faith and justice toward all nations, cultivate peace and harmony with all." On the Statue of Liberty are these words: "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shores. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door."
Patrick Henry spoke these immortal words. If we wish to be free, we must fight. Is life so dear, peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price and chains and slavery? Forbid, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
Thomas Jefferson said in the Declaration of Independence, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Abraham Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address, "This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom. A government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth."
Abraham Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address, "Fourscore-and-7 years ago, our father brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal."
During a civil rights march in Washington, D.C., Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal."
John F. Kennedy said during his inaugural address, "Ask not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country."
On September 11, 2001, President George W. Bush addressed our nation after the terrorist attacks. These acts were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat, but they have failed. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the seal of American resolve.
Would the teachers and the principals come up here and take a bow themselves, please?
Yes.
Please, teachers and principal, come on.
I hope you notice all that good reading,
I
by
mean,
the way.
I just-
That's our job number
This
one.
is unbelievable.
Great job,
First
guys.
graders. Wow. This is our future, and you guys have just added to our future. And I want to tell you guys, go Navy. Those hats.
Thank you for letting
Thank
us
you
in.
so much. We have some certificates for you.
Again, I just want to thank you all for doing this for these kids and teaching them that it's okay to love your country. And it's just amazing. It still brings a tear to my eye. But we're not going to, it'll be hard enough to hurt these kids. So I have
Can we get a picture with all the boys?
Yeah, we'll stand up here, or we can come down here. Miss Winslow and Miss Ford. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're going to make me cry.
This is what makes the Central Valley a great place to live. Pride in your country. You know, there's not a lot of that going around these days, and I think we'd have a better country if people actually looked at what the good things that happen in our country rather than the bad. And this is good right here. This is good.
Isn't that amazing? Well, I know that was a long invocation and pledge of allegiance, but I think it was well worth it. Thank you guys for being here and sharing, being able to share that with us. I think that was outstanding. Like I said, that is our future right there. Brittany, I need that. Okay.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, can we go to consent calendar, please? Oh, did we have anything from closed session? We already talked about that, right? We're done with that? Okay, I kind of got after that. But anyway, okay, consent calendar. Any items?
I got just one item B, and I think the last time I asked to have everybody print out the names on the bottom of all the contracts, and Regina on item B, it wasn't printed out, so she printed it out herself. So thank you, Regina.
Very good.
Other than that, I got everything okay on that.
Anybody else from the board? To the public? Consent calendar?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a first and a second.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rodriguez? Yes. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. What time is it? 10 o'clock. Should we go to close the hearings?
We got public comment first.
Yeah, let's do public comment. Go ahead, Rhonda.
The first 15 minutes of each regular session is set aside for members of the public to comment on any item within the jurisdiction of the board but not appearing on the agenda. Items presented under public comment may not be discussed or acted upon by the board at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public is invited to comment at the time the item is called for consideration by the board. Any person addressing the board under public comment will be limited to a 3-minute presentation to ensure that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Also, all persons addressing the board must state their name and county of residence for the record.
Yeah, can I say one first?
Go ahead.
When I get complaints from different constituents, I usually I send them to different staff members, and I usually put team on there and say, how do we get this corrected, or how can we help this person? And this guy, I don't know who he is. He lives in Bass Lake. He's buying a big house. He wanted to do a bed and breakfast, and so I just put team, and so to Norm and Matt and I think Regina, I try to get everybody concerned this happens. And so I got this last night at 9:01. He says, so you know, your team did a good job following up. Matt was out, but Robert Mansfield was great. Thank you. So I like getting those kind of things from our staff and how they do it. So thank you, Robert, for taking care of that. And I guess you made him happy. So I don't know him, and I don't know what he's going to end up doing, but that's the way that
That's how we've achieved.
That's how we've got to do our stuff.
That's how we've achieved number 49 of best places to do business in the United States.
Yep, exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Public?
Good morning, Supervisor Farinelli, fellow supervisors, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Fuller. I'm a resident of the County Madera, and I'm proud to be here today to invite you to International Women's Day celebration, which will take place at Sierra Vista Elementary School, not to be confused with Sierra View. And it's here in the city of Madera, it's west of where the Sheriff's Department and the Madera County Office of Education used to be. And consistent with what we just saw, which was so great, I was so impressed. As part of the finale of this event, there'll be 80 in total, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th grade girls who've been researching a career over the past month or two, and they'll be there dressed in their attire for that career with a sign listing that career in both English and Spanish, and they'll be part of a larger fashion show parade, which will include women dressed in international and cultural costumes and things like that. So I'm hoping it's as great as what we just saw. And I'm not sure if you saw the Valley Voices op-ed piece that I wrote. It was in Saturday's Fresno Bee. If you did not have a copy here, and I'll email you a copy too later today when I get back to my office. But I'm certainly encouraging you to come. And as you'll see by reading my article and also the comments that I've made in previous Board of Supervisors meeting, treating women and girls with dignity and respect is really super important to me personally, high on my priority list. And also one thing they left out of my article in the Fresno Bee was a graph that shows by 2021, of every 100 males that will graduate, there'll be 148 females, which is a tremendous reverse from what it used to be in the 1970s. And I'm hoping we're seeing those kinds of graduation rates here in the Valley. Because just in the basic importance of empowering women and girls, I see it as a great addition to, developing a more educated workforce, and not to leave the boys out, but I think if they see the girls start to excel, that it'll motivate them to go forward also. So we see great potential for this going forward. And the last thing I'll say is some of the staff from the Public Health Department recognized me from my efforts with Slow Food Madera, which took place in about 10 years ago and was very popular. But I've kind of shifted my focus, seeing empowering women and girls a tremendous opportunity to generate tremendous benefit here in our community. So, again, I'll email you a personal invitation a little bit later today, and I'll leave one copy here for your staff as well. So we hope to see you there. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next.
Chair, board members, Charles Honeycutt, Madera County Veteran Service Officer. I'm here today to bring you an annual report that our state association brings together when we go to our legislative conference up in Sacramento every year. Basically, that legislative conference is to hit the halls of the Capitol, to meet our legislators, introduce ourselves, give them this booklet in order to let them know what we do in the state of California. And I brought a copy for all of you today, along with the CAO. But basically, some of the highlights are that we have an average of about 9,000 veterans in Madera County. We do about 1,700 and some claims a year. Those claims total up to about $2 million in revenue every year that come to the county, which assists these veterans on getting off public assistance or supplementing their income. Along with that, we also do college fee waivers, which is a state program. It's not a federal program, which basically saves over $100,000 a year for dependents that go to college because it waives their tuition. So when you look at it, that we have a budget of $249,000 a year, that's a lot of bang for the buck, what we return to the county. One thing that I would like to recommend, which I know we have the support of the board, is that we, along with our association lobbyists, is to go ahead and lobby the legislatures to go ahead and give us that $11 million that was allocated in the Military Code 972.1. At this point in time, we just got a permanent increase of $3 million. We were only working with $2.6 million to deal with 1.9 million veterans in the state of California, which is the largest veteran population. If we are allocated that total $11 million, we can reach out to another 740,000 veterans in the state of California, which basically equates to $945 million of the budget that we can get for the federal government. So I encourage you, along with the other counties, to help the 56 counties that have CVSOs to go ahead and talk to our legislatures to go ahead and allocate that full $11 million and not let us have $5.6 million to work with. So at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and...
David?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to comment on it. I think that's a great way to go. We need to allocate this money. 30% of veterans or 30% of our homeless are veterans in the population. I believe we can stem the tide of that by having adequate funding for veterans resources. The people that we need to take care of who have done the job of standing watch on the wall for us, for our freedom, they're the vets. They're the ones we owe this to. And I don't consider it welfare. I consider it warfare. We've asked them to stand on the wall for us. We've asked them to do violence on our behalf. And I think it's important that we take care of those who've done the job for us. So I agree with you, Charles.
And I appreciate that. One thing to let you know, remember, your county service officers are the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
The federal government cannot allocate resources out to each county or each city. At this point in time, when you hear about backlogs, it's not the county CVSOs. We submit into the Oakland Regional Office on a yearly basis 30,000 claims. So that's a lot more than any other veterans organization in the state.
Right.
So that's why we need this extra funding to hire more staff. The state is supposed to allocate about 50% of our budget. We only get 20% in Madera County. So they're not allocating the full amount that we should get in order to do our jobs.
Charles, thanks for everything you do for us and for the vets here in Madera County, and we'll accept your budget.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Brett, you were correct as a veteran. That made my day. God bless those kids. That was great. Okay, thank you.
Charles, and I wanted to thank you personally, too, for taking care of that lady that I sent another thing to team members to get done, and he took care of that. He actually told me personally this morning that he had done it, so thank
You're welcome, Tom. Okay, God bless all of you. Thank you.
Charles, a question for you. You say the money, the problem is in Oakland. What is the problem there? Why can't they expedite those funds that are there and for the purpose that were designated for?
Okay, when the conflict with Vietnam happened, the VA at that point knew that they didn't have enough staff to handle all the disability claims that are submitted into the VA. I guess they didn't learn their lesson because when 9/11 happened, they didn't staff up. So there's about 250 employees up in Oakland that handle the claims, but not all of them are dedicated to dealing with original claims that come in through the front door. They have appeals that they deal with. And appeals, if you file an appeal because they denied your claim, you're talking about 2 years. So adding 2 years from the original claim, adding another 2 years, that's why you hear a lot of veterans say, well, you're just going to wait until I die. They do have an internal problem with the VA, and hopefully Secretary McDonald, that was recently hired to fill in the shoes of that position, is to streamline the system. The VA is on the right track. We're going electronic claims. Hopefully we'll have access next year. I can tell you that we've already purchased the signature pads, the card reader. We're actually, as county employees, we're going to get federal ID cards that will get us through the firewalls when we access their system to submit these electronic claims. So we're moving in the right direction. Hopefully by next year we'll have access to the VA system, and we can do it electronically where when the claims are submitted, they're just not going to go to Oakland. They're going to go nationwide, and it'll go on a queue. So whoever needs any work, it will go to that worker, so they can get them out a lot faster.
Charles, whenever you need to bring something to the board, just, call the CAO and stuff like that so we can have a regular presentation.
Okay.
And I really appreciate you talking about this morning, but we do have time limit on speeches. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you, Charles.
Vaughn?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Vaughn Del Reynoso, Public Health Director, and I just want to introduce someone to you. This is the newest member of our executive team, Hilda Zarate Gonzalez. She is the new Deputy Director of Public Health, and she's been with our department for 4 years, but I had my eyes on her about 8 years ago, and we recruited her from Fresno County. So I'm very excited that she's here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was here not long ago. So I just wanted to say that I'm very humble and very moved for the appointment. Vaughn and I do know each other for a long time. And when she invited me to work in Madera County, I had no idea that this county was this wonderful. So I'm really appreciative of all of you, of everybody that works in the county. I'm super excited about working in this new role with the hardworking, committed, and talented people in the Public Health Department. It's truly an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Excellent.
Good morning, Bart. Good morning. My name is Bart Topping, Madera County. I have been investigating or trying to find alternative spots for an OHV park so that we may avoid a battle on Black Hawk Mountain. And one just recently came up to me, and this is probably more of a question than anything, and I probably don't expect an answer today, but I understand the county was given 300 acres by PG&E in the North Fork Bass Lake area. And I was just wondering if that's true or if that's a site that can be used for an OHV park. And maybe I could,
Yeah, Manatee Lake, it's 200, they cut it down to 200 and about 18 acres.
Okay.
And we tried to already do that, and they come up, this is about our 15th property we found, Bart, and they come down from the state and check it for all the whatever, and they denied it there. And,
for environmental reasons?
Yeah, environmental reasons. There's an Indian campground, and I forgot, there's a whole list of stuff on it.
Okay.
So, I've checked that already, too.
Okay, well,
and they cut it down. It was 400 acres at first, and then they've cut it down to, we don't even know exactly what it's going to be yet because it's not finalized. The Stewardship Council's doing the work for PG&E to deal with this, and it's about 218 to 250 acres now.
Okay, we're talking about an agenda item that we have coming up, so I appreciate finishing
all
with
right.
you.
No, I just thought this agendized item was on the grant process.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep looking.
Yeah. Good morning.
Chairman. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Vicki West, Director of Department of Child Support Services, and I have the privilege of bringing you a lot of good news. First of all, I'm sure you recognize Sarah Honeycutt, but today is her first day as the Deputy Director of the Department of Child Support. I also wanted to share with you, Sarah and I attended the statewide directors meeting last week, and at the end of the meeting, they gave awards for all of the counties that had increased their collections. They gave the bronze award to counties that had increased by 3% or more in their collections, and then the silver award for 4% or more, and then, of course, the gold award for 5% or more. We were fortunate enough to receive the award, the silver award, which that in itself is wonderful, but we were the highest recipient of the silver award in that our collections increased by 4.9%.
Wow.
There were only 3 counties that got the gold award, which in essence means we were 4th in the entire state of California. So we're very proud. And of course, we give all the credit to our wonderful staff that has worked so hard to increase our collections. We collected just under $10 million for the children of Madera County last year.
Wow.
And our goal this year is to exceed that, and we're right on track.
Very good. Fantastic.
Be gold next year, right?
We're aiming for it. Go for the gold, you bet. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. John?
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, John Anderson. Here for a couple of reasons. One is I want to compliment Supervisor Farnelli. I attended probably the best town hall I've ever gone to the other night, and it was through his sponsorship where the city police department put on I guess it was a lesson on active shooters, and it was just outstanding. If you guys want to invite them or somebody like them to your town halls, it was very informative and really a great public service, I thought, and I thank you for that. The other thing is that this is probably one of the nicest supervisors meeting after coming 16 years every Tuesday. This group you had in here this morning was the best, and I want to compliment you on that, Brett. My main reason for being here is to introduce to you the new commander of the Madera area, Mark Karras. We've known each other and worked together for many, many years. And anyhow, the other commander in the back there, you probably know Jason Doherty. He's been around for a while. But anyhow, Mark Karras, the commander of the Madera Area Highway Patrol.
Thank you, John. Chairman of the board members, Mark Karras, California Highway Patrol, and I'm proud to be here this morning. What a great group of kids, and very patriotic, and with the way things are going in today's world, it was a great thing to see this morning. So I just wanted to really briefly introduce myself. I'm going to leave some business cards to you, let you know that we are here to assist you and your constituents in any way we can. I've got a great partner back here in Jason Doherty that covers the Oakhurst area, and between he and I, we're here to serve Madera County and provide anything we can to assist with public safety and traffic safety in the community. So I just want to offer that to you. I'm going to leave my card, has my number on it. Anytime you have any issues or concerns, please feel free to give me a call. I'm glad to get back to you, and we can work any issues we have. So I'll leave these for the Madam Clerk to pass out. I just thank you again. I'm very humbled to be here. It's a great opportunity. And just kind of real quick, 28 years ago, that young man back there sent me a letter in the California Highway Patrol when I came to Central Division, I was assigned to the Bakersfield area, and so it's quite an honor to have him introduce me this morning to you. So, thank you.
Question. You're going to be here longer than 6 months, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
And
let's go.
And Jason's doing a great job in Oakhurst. I've got news for you.
Is that Jason King?
Huh? Jason Doherty.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's regular session. Let's do 6A, please, Rhonda, real quick, and then we'll go into the hearings. And would you read the proclamation, please?
6A, Social Services Department, presentation of proclamation naming March 2016 as Professional Social Worker Appreciation Month. Read it. Whereas social workers are highly trained, hardworking, dedicated professionals, and whereas social workers seek to improve social functioning and social conditions for people in emotional, economic, and/or physical need, and whereas social workers provide invaluable services to individuals, families, and communities in order to empower members of society to enhance their lives, and whereas social workers connect individuals, families, and communities to available resources, and whereas social workers celebrate the courage, strength, and determination of the human spirit. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Madera, State of California, does hereby proclaim March 2016 as Professional Social Worker Month, and call upon social worker employers to recognize their staff's accomplishment with a gesture of appreciation.
Kelly?
Good morning. Kelly Woodard, your Social Services Director, and with me is Danny Morris, our Deputy Director of our Social Services, as well as 3 of our social workers, Melissa Garcia, Brandy Kieran, and Laura Flores Rios. And I just want to say that social work is a very difficult job. Our social workers work with the most vulnerable in our society. They work with children who are victims of abuse and neglect. They work with the elderly who are victims of abuse, neglect, and sometimes financial abuses. and/or people in our society who are aging out and really need the support to keep them either in their home or to help move them to an appropriate placement. None of these positions are easy positions, and I'm very honored that the three joined us at the board here today because they exemplify the quality social workers that we have in our department.
Danny Morris, Deputy Director of Social Services. I agree with Kelly and could not support her more so in the work that they do for both our vulnerable children as well as the adults in our community. Without them, we would have no services for those folks, and some of those folks would be in facilities that would not be amenable to the conditions that they live in. So I greatly appreciate all the work they do and the places they have to go to support those folks. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to say anything?
Hi, I'm Brandy Curran, and I've been with the county for 24 years, and I really enjoy working with our elders and dependent adults, and thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And her child goes to Sierra View as well. Go Panthers. Yeah, two of them.
Kelly, is it mandatory for your social workers to go around the block? I see hundreds of them walking around the block.
You know, I think it's really clear that you have to be about your own health to be helpful in the health of others.
And they are.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I just want to thank you for having us today, and thank you for appreciating us. It is a difficult job. It's very, very difficult. I'm not going to lie. However, the satisfaction that I get personally is tremendous. Being able to reunify the children with their parents and being able to provide the services so that the parents don't come back in the system, that within itself, when you see that when you go to the court hearings, that's amazing. So that makes it all worth it for me.
Hi, my name is Melissa Garcia, and thank you so much for honoring us today here with that great group of kids that we got to see them and hear them, and it really touched our heart. Being social workers, it touched all of our heart. I work for in-home supportive services, and we work with the elderly and children that have disabilities, so it's really an honor to work with them and serve them. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You're doing a great job. I really appreciate it so much. And thank you. Oh, you want that? You do a great job, I'll tell you.
So my degree was in sociology, and that a lot of times leads into social work. But I knew I wasn't strong enough to do that work, and so thank you for being the strength and caring for those that can't provide for themselves or need that help. We can't thank you enough. So thank you.
You know, I live in that area over there, and I can see the cars, the parking lot is full every day, you know, and in the meantime, I live nearby and I see all of you guys going around the block. So I guess it gets tiresome in there listening to the same problems and over again. But you guys are doing a great job. We appreciate it. This board appreciates. Thank you very much.
We'll take a 2-minute break. Anybody else go to the restroom? 2 minutes? That'll get you fast. Yeah.
use their place, or?
John? I think his mother passed away here last. So we paid our respect. Your mother, yeah. What did I say? No, not your father, your mother, Teresa Ripon. Yes, and she was very active in the educational field, right? As teacher's aide and things, and she was very active. So sorry that we lost her.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the supposed to be 10 o'clock hearings, but 7:08, please.
Close enough.
Community Economic Development Department Planning Division, hearing to consider the application of DB Hill Store, Inc. for a letter of public convenience and necessity to obtain a Type 20 off-premise license to allow the sale of beer and wine from an established marketplace, supermarket. The property is owned by Knott Hill Investment Corporation and is located on the west side of Yosemite Springs Parkway, approximately 180 feet northwesterly of the intersection of Yosemite Springs Parkway and Copper Creek Drive, 28420 Yosemite Springs Parkway, Corsco. The parcel is assessed via Yosemite Springs Parkway. The parcel, APN 050-041-085, is zoned commercial rural median. The general plan is neighborhood commercial.
Chairman, members of the board, this is a letter of convenience and necessity. It's required by ABC this is an off-premise site or off-premise license for a supermarket. Many of you may be aware or familiar with the Ranchos Market on Avenue 12. This is the same proprietor, Mr. Hill. He's a businessman for many, many years in our county. In fact, I went to high school with his daughter, so their family's quite well known. And we did route this out to the normal agencies, including the sheriff's office. This would be a new market in YLP, and they would provide this off-site. Staff's available if you have any questions.
I just want to say Dave runs a great operation. Actually, the principal, Mr. Imperatrice, that was in here earlier, was an employee of Dave's for probably, 10 years, 12 years? So he's been employing local people for years and years, runs a great operation, and with that, I'll be willing to make a motion.
No, you
won't.
won't.
That's
It's in
right.
my district,
That's
boy.
right. That's right. I'll second Tom's.
Anything from the public? Bring it back to the board.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the concentration for the ABC requirement?
So and Robert can give you the data. So the requirements from ABC is there's a certain amount of licenses that are allowed within the census tract. We actually, Mr. Trieber and I recently met with ABC on this topic. So they use census tract data. In this area, census tract are very large because it's not a highly populated area like a city. So pretty much almost all of the unincorporated county is over-concentrated because the census tracts are so large and the amount of people are so small within them. So that's why you see these so
the
regular.
census tracts are larger than normal?
Yes, because it's a rural area, yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's having
Yes.
the same problem in the ranchos as well.
Yes.
Because of those census tracts are so large.
That's
Whereas-
something I didn't know.
Yes, it's the nature of rural areas, whereas cities, you have multiple census tracts. And the reason why is obviously we are building a new city in the case of Rio Mesa, but they are currently still looked at as a rural area, but it's transitioning to an urban area, and that's a big transition for us.
So they need to be more specific on that than when they give these census tracts, that this is because it not just about population, it's about region as well, so.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, it is, and that's what they have always used for this, and of course, we do our best to work around it, and we have a better understanding as time goes on, because, in a rural situation, you many times, for good or bad, have a different set of rules, yes.
Right, and I appreciate knowing that. Thank you for clarifying that. That's important.
Would this be a way, also, if he was ever to look at doing the Ranchos Market, would you have to go through this same process?
I would imagine so, yes. It's my understanding that pretty much most of the unincorporated county is oversaturated just by the nature of the way the censuses are designed.
Yeah, first I want to thank them, Mr. Hill, for the great job he does there. I mean, they're always accommodating to everybody. And what he does there, fighting, Rayleighs and Vaughns and all that, it's just, I mean, he's amazing. So, and it's a great fit in our community there. So I'm gladly make this motion to approve this.
Second.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli? Vote passes 5-0.
Got her done.
Public Works and Community Economic Development Departments. Second hearing to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 13.55 of the Madera County Code pertaining to water conservation and direct staff to implement Stage 3 conditions in an applicable county-operated community water systems that currently meet demand.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. This is the second reading of the ordinance changes that were directed previously so that we could have the option of a one-day-a-week watering. We didn't have that as an option. So we sort of restructured all of those. I have a short synopsis I can read you here so that I don't, it's not as confusing as it was last week. My apologies. There are general regulations on water conservation, like no watering between 11 and 7. Even numbers are on Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. This is the lowest level I'm explaining. The odd numbers are watering Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and there's no outdoor irrigation allowed during and 48 hours following measurable participation. Those are the general rules. Stage 1, all of those general rules apply, and then the addition of all water leaks must be repaired immediately, and voluntary conservation are requested. That's Stage 1. Stage 2, again, all the applicable items above, and the restrictions go to 2 days per week of watering in Stage 2. Even numbers on Wednesday and Sunday, odd numbers on Tuesday and Saturday. Stage 3, again, all the above restrictions except for the outdoor watering is 1 day per week. Even numbers Wednesday, odd numbers Saturday. Stage 3.5, again, no change to the above general regulations, but you're only allowed to do drip only in Stage 3.5. And then Stage 4, there is no outdoor watering at all allowed in Stage 4, and all the other provisions do apply except for the fact in Stage 4 you wouldn't really have general provisions. So those are the changes we did so that we could accommodate a wide range of options for the board to make a decision on. Today, that is the second hearing to approve that. There were some minor tweaks to the language that it just had to do with some what we call looping language in each one that we made. Regina and I worked on that, and we had told the board last week we would do that. The second thing is, I just want to explain the county's longstanding policy on pools and new pools. We had some information come in last minute. The county's policy, if you're within a water district and you build a pool, you have basically new pool and fill your pool or spa, you have to bring that resource from outside the district. That is already the county policy. It has been for some time. If you have a pool and you're just topping it off and keeping the level up because of evapotranspiration, that is okay to do within a district. However, when you're refilling a pool, a new pool, it has a long-standing county policy, and again, the board has control over that, but that has been a long-standing county policy that new pools need to bring resources from outside the district.
So it's just what if you dump it out and then you just have to bring?
Let me ask Phil answer that, the subtleties to that.
If you dump it out, you still got to bring it in from someplace else.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on our current conservation stages, I don't know if the trigger is 3 or 3.5, but because they're potable water systems and they're community serve systems, the existing code doesn't allow to fill up a pool during that conservation order. The primary reason for that is because our number one goal is to provide safe and potable drinking water to the community. I did receive a call from Mr. Norwood last night who expressed his concerns, and I explained the situation regarding the districts on that, and it was his understanding that this was a new ordinance going to be applicable throughout the entire county, and I explained to him that that's existing. All we're doing is adding a provision for 1 day a week here, and that it's only applicable to county-operated systems.
And it's not saying you can't build a new pool. It's not a moratorium on
No, sir, not at all.
building pools. It's
No.
not a moratorium on even filling pools. You just have to find the water elsewhere.
Yes, we just have a standard by which you can do so, yes.
Just wanted to clarify.
So we don't have a standard or a regulation, like if you have an older pool, like 10 years, and the water gets hard, and you have to dump the pool, you're going to have to get water from the outside? You can't just fill it?
Same rule.
Yeah,
The only
Okay.
time the water from the outside is when these higher conservation stages are in place during periods of drought.
Okay, thank you. When you're on one of these designated.
And I can just
If
tell you.
everything's all one and everything, you don't have any problem with, yeah.
Right, and again, this goes back to a lot of other things we're dealing with water and all kinds of things I can tell you, is that in normal years, and normal practice has been, oh, it's all same, right? And then as we have over the last few years reframed and refocused on that, we have found that even our normal practice, we may or may not have been implementing the rules correctly because we just didn't have the emphasis in taking a closer look at it. So we're looking at all options. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anything done with, I mean, most of the time the water's probably dumped in the sewer system or in the storm drain system?
Usually in the city, I'm familiar with, they usually put it in the storm drain system in the city of Madera. That's what I see happening on a regular basis when people do have to empty their pools. They do it into the storm system, yes.
It's too bad that couldn't be.
Get any credit for it, or?
Well, I mean, it's, you're talking about an average of 55,000 gallons, I think, pretty close to that for a pool.
30 to 55.
And you do that 7 times, that's an acre foot of water. I mean, I'm just thinking in terms of.
Can you capture it and reuse it?
Could we, have it put into storm drain basins for recharge or something?
I would say it does, in as much as it runs down the flow line. If you have a storm drain system, it would go into a storm basin and recharge. So yes, if you were to just surface flow it out onto some property, say if you were out in 5 acres, it would also at some level recharge.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, but I don't think they put it in the sewer of any way I know. I think that would be an issue, and at some level that recharges. But there's a bigger issue with putting it in the sewer, for sure.
Right. Right. Breaking down the
microbes.
Microbes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Anything from the public?
Just thinking out loud. I was turning on stuff. Ways to save it.
Morning, Bill Purcell, Madera County. I'm just wondering about this thing. You said that you've got to get the water elsewhere. I mean, water is water, and it's going to come out of the county someplace to fill in pools again. I mean,
the issue is, Mr. Purcell, is the districts themselves are a finite system, and they exist primarily for potable drinking water and also for fire flow, and that's the main reason why they exist. So the initial filling and refilling of pools, and especially in the more restrictive stages, is an undue burden on the system.
see, in other words, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
But you said you had to get the water someplace else.
Yes.
Tell them, I mean, I guess you're going to truck it in? Or?
Yeah, they do. They do have services that do truck it in. And in fact, many of you know, we do have a program for folks whose wells have gone dry where the water is trucked in to assist them in that. So yeah, there are water haulers. In fact, water haulers are quite popular these days. Yes.
The main reason, I think, there's several reasons here. One is it doesn't help us comply with
also conservation.
Conservation restrictions that are imposed by the state.
In other words, they would be running up a big water bill if they pumped it in from their house.
That's one, and then also the system itself is not created to sustain that kind of activity, and it's unfair for other residents to be
out of water.
Well, to be put into that position where they're supplying somebody's water.
Yeah, I think I understand what they're doing here. I was just thinking, if it's water, you want to get it somewhere out of the county.
You can get it someplace anyway.
Whether you're getting it from wherever.
Exactly.
But I know a little about them water haulers. I'm from Missouri, and back in the drought years back there, people, about everybody had a cistern, which you had hooked up to your house, And they use it for drinking water and everything else, and didn't kill nobody I know of, but they say now if you've got the wrong roof, you can't, it's not whatever. But anyway, I remember back then they had water haulers that would come and fill up people's cisterns when they'd run out of water in the drought years when there was no rain. But anyway. So I
You
know
drink
a little
cistern
about
water,
haulers.
you're still here?
I've not been one of them, but I.
Thanks, Bill. Okay, no more from the public. Back to the board.
I move we approve the new guidelines for water
Second.
conservation, and we just remember, our snowpack and everything else is
Not
way below 100% now, so it's going to be another bad year unless we get lots of snow and rain here in the next thing, but it's still not going to be good.
Okay, I have a first from Tom and a second from Dave. Can I have a vote, please?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 4-0.
And thank you, staff, for not getting me mixed up like you did last time.
I spent a lot of time on this. Of course, you notice Phil's here today, so that helped out a lot, too.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the regular agenda. 6B, please.
Community and Economic Development Department, Environmental Health Division. Discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution appointing Jill Yeager as a retired annuitant to the position of Supervising Environmental Health Specialist, waiving the 180-day wait period from date of retirement and making findings in support thereof pursuant to the California Public Employees Pension Reform Act of 2013, Government Code Section 7522.56 and 21224, effective March 1st, 2016.
Chairman, members of the board, Norman Allender here with Dexter Marr, who's our Deputy Director in waiting for environmental health. The item before you is retired annuitant, and we did have a succession plan for Ms. Yeager to stay till the end of the year, but due to some complications in her personal life, she decided to retire a little earlier, and I will turn that over to Mr. Marr, who was a big part of our succession plan. Dexter?
Yes, thank you, Chairman, members of the board, Dexter Marr, Environmental Health Division. Yes, what we have before you is Jill Yeager has 29 years of experience in the environmental health profession. 20 years of that is from as a department head. And even though we had our succession planning, there were a few projects because of her early retirement, a few projects that weren't completed. And with the completion of these extra projects would be a benefit actually to myself and to our division as well.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Can I bring back the board, please?
Move that we approve this item.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Brett, second by Tom. Can I take a vote, please?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes, and the reason I'm voting for this, and I usually vote for succession, is because she gave us early retirement. That's the only reason. Thank you. Okay, let's move on.
6C, County Administration Department, General Services Division. Discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution authorizing the submittal of a State of California Off-Highway Vehicle Program Grant and authorizing the County Administrative Officer on behalf of the Board to sign the application and all required supporting documents.
Mike?
Bill Hader, W.L. Hader and Associates, 1128 Woods Avenue, Exeter, County's Grants Manager.
Hey, Bill, would you pull the mic closer, please? Thank you.
Our request this morning is the second phase of the Blackhawk Ranch Recreation Area Project, which is the application to the State of California Off-Highway Vehicle Grant Program for special studies. These studies will address air quality, specifically dust control and exhaust, noise, mitigation measures, also assist in locating trails and other facilities with the least amount of impact to the neighbors, water quality, sedimentation issues and impact of the water table, traffic, impacts to local and regional roads, biological, sensitive plants, animals, and mitigation measures, archaeological, cultural resources and mitigation measures. We will also be forming a citizen advisory committee and a technical advisory committee. The two committees are to work together with experts on one side and residents on the other so that they can work together to address the community's concerns. Stakeholder meetings, community meetings leading up to a preliminary master plan and a final master plan. From this, we would go to next year's grant cycle to look to get funding to do the EIR, EIS. The purpose of these studies are to define the constraints to development on the property. Where do we put buffer zones? How do we protect cultural resources? How do we protect the biological issues that are there? Upon completion of the studies, we will do a constraints map. We will make that available to the public for review, and that will delineate what is left on the property that we can develop. Questions?
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public?
So if there's, sorry, I was getting my thoughts together.
Spit it out.
So, I mean, this, as we go through the environmental process, there is the ability for public input.
Yes.
There is, if, like you said earlier, there's 15, or this is like the 15th site.
Yeah.
It could tell us that it doesn't work there, correct?
Potentially.
So, but there is that potential for it. So
Right.
I just want people to know there's still the ability for public input at multiple different steps, and but and let the facts be what they are.
For your board's information, we did do 2 preliminary studies before we did the acquisition grant. We did the biological and we did the archaeological. On the archaeological, they went through and researched the existing designated historical sites, most of which are located in the northwest corner of the property next to Highway 41. And the biological, they did not find a whole lot out there. We are currently looking at the pond out there as being potential for tiger salamander, although elevation-wise, probably not. But there's nothing there that we couldn't mitigate. So from that perspective, those issues don't appear to be encumbering the property. There are also the cultural issues. Mr. Turing has addressed some with Black Mountain. Our initial look at the property, we did not have a whole lot of trails on the mountain. Most of them are in the valley floor and up into the canyon. But those are things that we will address. What are the parameters of the buffer zones that we have to create?
Thank you.
Yeah, Bart Topping from Madera County. I guess the first thing is, Mr. Hayter, it was not Black Hawk Ranch. It was Black Hawk Mountain. It is Black Hawk Mountain. And it's not Black Mountain. You're the second person that referred to it as Black Mountain. It's Black Hawk Mountain. And I would ask, I guess, in the future that maybe for this OHV project, change the name. Come up with a name. Don't think you're doing Black Hawk any favors by keeping that name as connected with an OHV park. Hayter Hills might be something you could consider. Just a suggestion. But I have a problem with this resolution, or maybe it's not a problem. The last part of it reads, the county administrative officer or his designee as agents to conduct all the regulations, execute and submit all documents, including but not limited to applications, agreements, amendments, payment requests, and so on, which may be necessary from completion of the property, subject to approval of county council. My question is, what is the definition of the project?
If you don't mind, Mr. Chairman,
It's specific to this grant and the studies that are associated with this grant. It's
Okay,
not
it doesn't
a
include
project.
the whole
No, sir.
OHV project.
No, sir.
And that's my concern.
I don't want that authority. If that's ultimately.
I would
gonna be
hope
the
not.
board's decision.
I guess, I mean, there's no way that we can stop. You need this grant. I understand that, but there's going to be some real battles in the future that I can see. And for your information, Blackhawk's Rancheria was not on the northwest corner of the mountain. And we would like to keep that out of the press or out of public knowledge as much as possible, because once this property becomes public land, or once the county buys the land and becomes public, our fear is that the public is going to go in and decimate these Native American sites. There's several burial sites on the property, and Black Hawk was there from 1860 to about 1891 when he passed. So he had a rancheria there, and there were several families living there with him. But prior to that, the area surrounding Black Hawk Mountain is known as Spring Valley, had a lot of water. And that's where many of the Native American people had villages in that valley surrounding the mountain. And the mountain actually protected those people and the villages. You know, it produced food for them. And if they needed to evade somebody attacking them, they could go up on the mountain and hide out in the rocks and the brush and that. So I think you're going to find a lot more Native American sites on that property when you get out there than what's listed with the National Archives. What was listed was basically done when Minarets High School was built, and that's what's documented at this time. But by having Black Hawk Mountain and the property surrounding it as private property, you know, nobody's had access to go in there and document what is actually there. So I think you're going to be surprised, and there's going to be a lot more sites show up when you get out on the ground. And then I guess I have one more, and I don't know if you can cut me off if this doesn't, but the resolution that was incorrect that I brought up at the last meeting, I thought maybe it would be on the agenda for today. That's why I came, but one of the main reasons. But am I wrong on that APN number?
No, you're actually right. It was a typographical. It should be 142, not 144.
No, throughout the whole document, and it's in the sales agreement.
The
So
original-
that needs to be corrected.
We will come back to the board with a correction amendment on that.
Okay, and that's all I ask. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bart.
Anybody else? No. Bring it back to the board.
I move we approve item 6C.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Tom first, Matt second. Can I
Call
vote?
call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Any legislative? Nope. Anybody have any legislation stuff? Okay. Any supervisor report we need to listen to?
I went to Sacramento Thursday and Friday on tree mortality and met with the big shots from Washington at the Forest Service training office up there, and it was very interesting. Our drought kind of mirrors what happened in 30 to 33. It's almost the exact same thing, and Norfolk was the center then, and it's the center of it this time. And it's so funny, even Washington talking about Norfolk. I mean, that's all they didn't really say Madera County, they said Norfolk. So they're realizing there's going to be a whole different landscape out there after this is all done.
How many counties were up there, Tom, at that?
You know, in the one-on-one I had, there was only 12 of us, and they had one supervisor from Tuolumne County. I can't remember his name, a real tall, thin guy.
Randy?
Huh?
Not Randy.
Oh, not Randy. He wasn't there. He was at.
Would have been Evan Royce?
Huh?
Evan?
Yeah, Evan Royce, yeah.
Evan.
And so, and then they had the big meeting. There was about 200 people there, and I had no idea who all was there. But the thing about it, though, is that we had a big meeting here, you know, the Wednesday before that, and the Forest Service and everything else. He was actually on one of the panels that spoke about what we're doing and what Madera County's doing and everything. So it was pretty. We've been up there and talked to them, so they know we're here, and I know we're
Fantastic. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm headed up to the Valley Voice trip tomorrow in Sacramento with MCTC.
Sounds good. Max, nothing?
I attended the Regional Health Authority.
I'll turn in my report like I always do.
I attended Regional Health Authority this last week.
Okay. I do want to mention one thing, and John Anderson mentioned it. The tactical shooter town hall was absolutely outstanding and presented by Steve Frazier, our Madera Chief of Police. Had a lot of topics, showed a lot of cases, showed actually what you would do if there was a shooter, like if one came in here. Very good training, and I would, you know, one of my town halls will be that again. So try to get everybody's attention on that, because what you do and what your mind tells you to do is two different things. So, and then I really had the pleasure, last Saturday, I presented a certificate of honor to Lupe Pico on her 100th birthday, and went over the house and presented that to her, and gosh, I mean, she's all there and feisty, so that's a good thing. So anyway, thank you. Do we continue the meeting, or can we stop the meeting and do the presentation?
Yeah, it's not an agendized item,
Okay.
the presentation, and
Okay.
so it'll be a social gathering of the Board of Supervisors, but you can speak to what it is.
Okay, sounds good. Let's close this meeting adjourned, and start our wonderful presentation. Let's take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll come